Hi guys, today let's take a look at mixed fractions. I have covered different topics on fractions like addition, subtraction, multiplication and division in other parts. I will leave the link to all of those lectures in the description below. Today what I wanted to see was two things. The first one is how we convert improper fractions into mixed fraction. So what's an improper fraction? So let me choose white. So improper fraction means that the numerator is greater than the denominator. So let's say you have something like 7 by 3. So we notice here that 7, which is the numerator, is larger than 3, right, which is the denominator. So 7 is greater than 3. So this is what we call as an improper fraction. Improper fraction. So how do we convert an improper fraction into a mixed fraction? Let's take an example. Example 1. I wanted to see how we could convert 6 by 5 into a mixed fraction. So the first check is 6 is greater than 5, so it is improper. What we do is we divide 6, which is the numerator, by the denominator, which is 5. So we see that 5 1 times 5, and if you subtract it, 6 minus 5 is 1. So in this case, let me choose a different color, let's say red. 1 is the quotient and this one here is the remainder. So a mixed fraction we can write as retain the same denominator, which is 5. Let me choose yellow to write the second part of this. So you put the quotient here, 1, and you put the remainder as the numerator. So this is the mixed fraction. What we have done is we have retained the denominator as the denominator here. 1 is the quotient which we got in this part here, quotient, and the numerator becomes the remainder, which is 1 here. Let's just do one more example so that you guys are clear about this concept. Suppose we had, let's say, example 2, you wanted to check what 14 by 3 would look like as a mixed fraction. Just to check whether this is improper or not, we'll take 14 and compare it with 3. Yes, it is greater than 3, so it is an improper fraction. The first step would be to divide 14 by 3, which is the denominator. So 3 times 4 gives us 12. You subtract it, you get 2 as the remainder, right? So 4 is the quotient. I'll just denote it as Q. 2 is the remainder. So how do you write it as mixed fraction? Mixed. You retain the denominator. This is very important. We retain the denominator always in a mixed fraction. So we retain the denominator as 3. We write the quotient, which is 4, here outside, and the remainder, whatever you get, goes as the numerator, right? This is the mixed fraction. So let's just see what this is again. 3 we retain as the denominator right from this step. 4 is the quotient, 2 is the remainder. That's about it. So another thing here is, how do you convert, second one, how do you convert a mixed fraction into improper fraction? Okay, so let's see how we would do this. Let me choose white. So example 1 for this one. Suppose I have 7 1/2. How would I do this? As always, you retain the denominator. You have to remember always, whatever the case is, retain the denominator. And for the numerator, what you would do is you multiply 7 with 2 and you add the plus 1 here. So what do we get? 7 times 2 is 14 plus 1 divided by 2, which is 15 by 2. Let's see this again, what we did. So suppose you have 7 1/2 as your mixed fraction and you want to convert it into an improper fraction. What we do is we retain the denominator, as you see here, 2. But to get the numerator, what we do is we multiply the 7 by 2 as shown here, and you add the numerator, which is plus 1. So you get 14 plus 1 divided by 2, which is 15 by 2. Let's just see another example just to make it more clear. Let me choose white again. Example 2. Let's say I have 6 5 7, right? So how would we solve this? Just to illustrate, I'll choose another color. So always retain the denominator. Just remember that. Retain the denominator. Multiply the denominator by the whole number, which is 6. So 6 times 7. Then add whatever the numerator is. So let me choose red again to illustrate this. Add 5. So what do you get? 6 times 7 is 42 plus 5 divided by 7, which is 47 by 7. That's about it. So what we did was you retain the denominator as 7, you multiply the denominator by the whole number here, which is 6 as shown here, and then you add the numerator to it. So you get 6 times 7 is 42 plus 5 by 7, which is 47 by 7. If you want to verify whether this is right or not, as we did in the first part, if you want to convert 47 by 7, which is an improper fraction, back to a mixed fraction, you could just cross check by dividing 47 by 7. So the closest one here is 6 times gives you 42, subtract it 5. So how would you write this? You would, as always, retain the denominator, which is 7. You have the quotient here, and this is the remainder. So you write the quotient on the side, which is 6, and you write the remainder on top, which is 5. is exactly the same as what we have here. Both are the same. So your answer is right. So this is about it, guys. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them in the comments section below. I'll try to answer them. Watch out for more videos this week. I'm thinking I'll do some videos on set theory next. If you guys have any suggestions or comments, please let me know. Subscribe to this channel to get all the updates on new videos. Like this video if you thought it was helpful. Share it with your friends also. Thank you very much.